Alright, so our first major symbol we have to talk about, and the one that kind of acts as a motif through the whole film, is bridges. Now, we see bridges in a lot of different scenes, but before we launch into some of those specifics, I think it's most important to really take a second to reflect on why bridges were picked by the director as this motif to exist throughout. Think of what a bridge does, a bridge that links one end of land to the other. In some of these cases, especially looking at it as more important symbolically, what a bridge's job actually is. So I want you to think about that as we launch into some specific scenes and then answer the questions afterwards. So our first major scene takes place very early in the film following the train accident. This nurse here is looking out the window as Ashok is laid up in bed following his big crash. And what does she see out the window? But this bridge. It's important to remember what the train accident caused Ashok to do with his life, which of course is to take the man on the train's advice, which is pack a pillow and go see the world. Possibly the most obvious, and certainly one that is incredibly important, is this bridge here. Now, as we're about to see when the picture changes, this bridge is outside the window before Hashima gives birth to Gogol. Gogol is going to act as a bridge in a lot of ways throughout the entire course of this movie, and the movie itself, the plot, is going to follow a lot of why Gogol's reluctant to this, but why he's eventually going to have to. This bridge, before Gogol's born, is foreshadowing of the role he's going to play. Okay, one last important one before we move on to talk about bridges in general is this bridge that's in this scene here. This is the plane that the family is on before they go to see India. And of course, outside before the plane takes off, we see this bridge here. Keep in mind that the family is about to make their first trek and the only one we're going to see as a family from America to India. So now that we've gone over some of the important scenes with bridges, it's important to ask and go back to the main question is why? Why did the director choose to put bridges in almost any scene where there is necessary B-roll footage, B-roll being that footage that links plot sections to other plot sections, and most specifically, these scenes, especially the three we went over, though there's many, many more, that featured bridges. So I ask, knowing what a bridge's job is, and then looking at these three scenes, what are bridges representative of? Why are bridges in this film so much? And finally, and almost most importantly, how do two of our main characters, two very specific characters in this movie, act as bridges? All right, take some time to answer that now.